the biggest chunk of our revenue stream was psychological assessments of top execs. And I've done hundreds of executive assessments. And so you get really attuned to how people run their careers, where they're making mistakes, how you size up when someone's strengths, weaknesses, and so forth. We will be using that learning and those skills in this coaching program that we're putting together. It's a real differentiator.
Let's go back a little bit in your career, and let's go all the way back to the military and the start of the business, because I think, and the decision for a quantum leap. So let's go back in the key roles and revelations that you had along the way.
Okay. Well, first of all, I got a little deeper into the backstory. I got a bachelor's degree in English. And why? I was good at it. I mean, I could ace those courses. And so I was not the most astute, academically inclined person at the time in terms of knowing where I was going. I was just like, okay, I'm good at this. So I got the bachelor's degree in English. And I thought, well, I don't think people are going to be knocking down my door to hire me. Maybe you need a master's degree. So I got a master's degree in English. And it's like, this is kind of nonsense. I'm going to go get a professional degree. But I had always wanted to write. And I thought, the more you know about the human being, that surely would help you in your writing, you know, whether you're crafting fiction or nonfiction, whatever. So I just wanted to get a professional degree. Okay. And so that I felt like I could carve out a professional career. So I got the PhD in psychology and did a year's internship in a clinical setting, actually working on psychiatric ward, which is one of those great learning experiences. But I knew from the very beginning of the doctorate in psychology that I was going to work with business and industry. That's what I'm better suited for. And so got the degree, but I had to go into the military because I'd gone through an ROTC program. You had to do it for the first 2 years of my college. And so the second 2 years kind of made sense because you're getting course credit for it. And at that time, you were going into the military and the Vietnam War was on. And I was thinking, I'm going to go as an officer if I'm going to go. So I got the PhD and then went directly to an assignment in the Pentagon. And I was a captain in military intelligence in the Army. And it was a terrific learning experience in a lot of different ways. So at this point in time, I'd seen the hospital world, the clinical world. And then I got to see the military world, which was interesting because of your bureaucrats and your military. You know, you got those two camps there. And it's so you learn a lot about organizational dynamics within the hospital setting, within the military. But then I went to work with a psychological consulting firm in Chicago called Management Psychologist Incorporated. It was a terrific learning experience. We had superb clients like Parker Penn, the city of Chicago, Motorola, Masonite, Upjohn, Clark Equipment, Playboy. It was great. And the main thing we did there, I guess the biggest chunk of our revenue stream, was psychological assessments of top execs. And I've done hundreds of executive assessments. And so you get really attuned to how people run their careers, where they're making mistakes, how you size up when someone's strengths, weaknesses, and so forth. And we use that learning. We will be using that learning and those skills in this coaching program that we're putting together. It's a real differentiator. And so I was with that firm for some time. Like I said, great learning, great clients. And then I wanted to put down the deep roots of my career in Texas. That's where I'd grown up. And I'd done an internship in Houston.
Mhm.
And I thought Dallas is a better climate. I like Dallas better. And so started my business here in 1974. And we've just had the pleasure of working with amazing clients. I mean, top tier blue chip clients. We
Yeah.
got to work internationally, all over the globe almost. And so it gives us some real breadth that we get to bring to this program. Now, I don't know. That's kind of a quick, sketchy run through the years past.
So when you started the business, right, and you worked with management psychologists, you did the psychological assessments, you made a decision to start your own firm. Did you start off in mergers and acquisitions, or did you start somewhere else and go and one day go, that's the big table? Because that statement, the big table, everybody's looking for that.
Yeah. Good question. I started out basically doing what I'd learned to do in Chicago with that firm. We did a lot of executive assessments. We did organizational studies, employee attitude and opinion surveys, different things. We developed some training programs for major clients. And it was really at the end of the 70s, I was getting bored. And I thought we've got more potential than this. But there were like 5 things. I thought, okay, I want to break some new ground.
Yep.
I want to carve out a niche that is our niche, and we are the best in that slice of the world at what we do.
Yep.
I wanted to be working with the very top execs in major companies. I wanted to have a high billing rate. There was a commercial instinct at work here.
Yes.
And I wanted to play in a zone that I thought there's going to be a ton of work there over the years to come.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so all of those factors kind of woven together, I decided we're going to go into merger integration strategy work,
Yeah.
which was a field that did not exist at the end of the 70s, which is peculiar, but it didn't. And there were no books that had been written on the integration process of companies. I mean, I dug around at University of Texas Library,
Okay.
the City of Dallas Library, the Southern Methodist University Library, and no books. I scraped up I think it's about 13 journal articles that made some passing reference to integration. And so this was beautiful. I mean, we got virgin territory here. The bad news was you've got to carve out your path. But it was very much an entrepreneurial journey. Why did I take us there? Well, we were getting stale.
Yep.
I could see limits to what our growth rate could be. And I wanted to go where the money was.
Yep.
The big money is in mergers and acquisitions.
Yep.
And it's exciting. You can have a huge impact, and it's challenging work. So there were a lot of reasons that came into play there, and my goal was to be number one in
Yep.
our niche, and that was 1979. But in 1985, we were. I had written the first book on merger integration strategy. We had a methodology defined. We had been working with clients for several years. And so that was a true quantum leap for us.
When you think about the desire for a quantum leap, as a psychologist, because as a coach for 33 years, we've heard that where there's no pain, there's no change.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The motivator of potential, which is could be defined, I guess, as a kinetic energy that's stored until activated, or an idea of embryonic growth that will be better today than we were yesterday. Do you believe that you got to get to that frustration point to want that quantum leap, or do some people go, I just see a potential here and I want to go for it.
Well, I'm sure it comes from all of those directions. It can and does. Um, I think pain or frustration is probably the best driver or the most common driver.
Yep.
We kind of have a philosophy or kind of a mindset here at Pritchett that if you're approaching a client comes to us, says they want to talk. Can we talk? We want to see about working together. My first instinct is go toward pain.
Yep.
Go toward pain. That's when you get movement. That's when people go see the dentist, not when they need to get their teeth taken care of. Or, someone has a heart attack. I think I'll go see the doctor. Maybe I'm not eating right or getting any kind of exercise. My lifestyle is a wreck, whatever. So I think when people, sometimes it's because they flatline. Sometimes it's because they come up against a major barrier. They're kind of stumped. And I think that they know intuitively they've got so much in reserve, so much latent potential. It's just dormant. And it's like, surely I can do better than this. And a breakthrough is a different animal. It's different. I think everybody kind of has goals. Sometimes they don't do anything better than a lame New Year's resolution, but everybody wants something. Everybody. We're born with that instinct, and it's good. That's what makes the human race survive and progress and everything. But I think every individual has some of that. Some of us, we just have more of it to begin with. We got more of a need for achievement, but we're just kind of born that way and raised that way.
Right.
And some people have a much higher level of comfort with where they are, and they want a peaceful, low challenge existence. That's perfectly fine. We're made in so many different ways. But I will say, everybody has the potential for a quantum leap.